This next tutorial is going to show you another method and technique of animating in Adobe Animate, which is more of a pose-to-pose type of animation opposed to a straight ahead. In doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our drawings, and we're going to make a simple drawing, and then we're going to convert it to a symbol. A symbol will allow us to give it properties and layer some of these animations, which allows us to do a little bit more of a easier technique of animation. You can combine this pose-to-pose type of symbol animation, or tweening animation as it's called, with your straight ahead animation, but I'm just going to show you how you can do this using Adobe Animate. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to use a simple ball or a sphere, and I'm going to select the oval tool, and I'm going to give it a black outline and a red fill. Holding down the shift key, I'm going to just draw out a simple ball, and it's going to show up in my timeline up here. Okay, so with that selected, if you notice here, this is just a graphic drawing, and you can manipulate the drawing just as you would any kind of drawing that I've shown you previously. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to convert this ball into a symbol, and you can do that with any kind of graphic that you draw in Adobe Animate. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go to modify up here in the menu section up here, and convert to symbol. You can also press F8. That'll do the same thing. It's going to bring up a window here, and what I want you to do is I want you to make sure it's going to default to movie clip, but I want to make sure that you make it this convert to symbol to graphic symbol. That is very important. It will default to movie clip sometimes, and this was graphic because the last time I made a symbol I made a graphic, and it's going to stay that way. But you just have to make sure that convert to symbol is a graphic, and you can name this anything you want. It's probably a good idea to name it something distinctive because you may be using multiple symbols in your animation. Press OK. So now if you look at here, it's going to now make this into a symbol. Now if I use my select tool, I can move the ball around in any method, but I cannot manipulate the lines in the fill like I was doing before. Like you can bend the lines and pull them and make different shapes out of them. One thing I'm going to show you now is that I'm going to open up the library. So if you go over here into this little menu section here, or you go to Window, you can open up your library here. Okay, and it's just going to open up. So what that'll do is that'll put that symbol, that graphic symbol, in this library that you can use for later on. It'll keep that in sort of like a folder, and you can reuse that symbol. You can go in and you can edit that symbol and do different things to it. Just remember that it's in this library for you to sort of go and reference and use as you please. I'm just going to minimize that for right now. So the thing now to remember is you're not going to be doing straight ahead animation, or yes, you're not going to be doing straight ahead animation as you do before. You're going to be doing more of a pose to pose. So I'm going to position my ball up here at frame 1, and then I'm going to go to frame 10, and I'm going to kind of just estimate that it's going to bounce in 10 frames here at the bottom here. Okay, and I'm going to go to frame 10, and I'm going to press F6, and I'm going to, at frame 10, I'm going to move it down to the bottom here, and so it's going to start at frame 1, go to frame 10, pop there. If I wanted to move this, animate that in 10 frames, I'm going to go to frame 1, and I'm going to select that frame. I'm going to right click over that frame and go create classic tween. If you notice, it's going to make this little purple line here. which means that there is a tween going on here. And so you can see it is animating my ball. It's estimating how many frames, the distance, the timing, which is the amount of frames, and the distance it's traveling. I'm going to go to frame 20, press F6 again, move the ball to the next position, go to frame 10, press create classic tween, and now I have a bouncing ball that Adobe Animate did for me in a fraction of the time it would to be doing it straight ahead. So now let's look at some of these properties here. Well, first of all, let's open up the I'm going to press the onion skinning, and I can look at see onion skin what exactly is going on. I can see all the frames all at once. Just wanted to look at that and just kind of move it along and see how those frames are working. Now let's do some simple ease in and ease out using these frames. So now if I go into here, I go to this first frame here, and I look at the properties of that frame selected. It's going to go classic ease. Okay. And I can change some of these things to ease in and ease out. You can either go ease in, and it'll show you that it's going to start slow and pick up speed. Go ease out, it's going to start fast and decelerate speed. So let's just put a ease in on that first frame there. And then I'm going to go to the next frame, and I'm going to go ease out. Like that. Let's just see how that works now. It actually didn't do anything because I needed to give it a value. So if I go to ease in, so I want to go ease in, -100. So it's going to start slow, and you can see how that's working. And then I'm going to go here and ease it out. So it's going to start fast and ease slow. If you look here, you can see how that curve will reflect the ease that you're doing here. Okay, so now let's just take a look here and see what's going on. I'm going to turn off onion skin. Press enter. You can see how we're doing a very simple ease in, ease out using pose-to-pose animation. I'm going to show you one thing very quickly, how you can do some character animation using this method. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn that layer off, and I'm going to have 3 layers here. I've just made myself 3 layers, and I'm going to go, this one is going to be body, arm 1, and arm 2. I'm going to go to the body. I'm going to make myself just a simple body here using the sphere tool here. So there's my simple body, and I'm going to make 2 arms. So I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to make let's just make it blue. Come on, where's my... Let's make that a different color, just so it's something different. So I'm on this frame here, like that. And I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to make another arm on this side. Notice that I put each one of these symbols on a separate layer. So that arm is on that layer, that arm is on that layer, and the body is on that layer there. Okay, So I'm going to just do a little bit of an arm wave thing. I'm going to choose this first arm, and well, first thing I want to do is I want to make this into a symbol. So I'm going to press F8, body, and then I'm going to make this into arm 1, and this one into arm 2. Oops. Hold on. F8. There we go. Now, if you notice here, there's this little dot in the center of the symbol here, and that's its pivot point. So if I were to grab this this transform tool, notice that it will rotate on that center. I can change that. I can bring that over to the edge here, move it over, and now my rotate tool will move from that pivot point there. I'm going to do the same thing on this arm here too. Now, in order for these classic tweens to work, each one of those symbols has to be on a separate layer. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to leave the body alone. I'm not going to do any animation on the body, but I'm going to go to this symbol here. I'm going to go to the frame 20, and I'm going to press F6, go to frame 1, right click, create classic tween. There's no animation because frame 1 and frame 20 are the same, but I'm going to go to frame 10, press F6, and now I'm going to animate. I'm going to move those symbols, and I just did a little simple animation here. Again, that's very simplistic. You can get much more sophisticated and much more complicated with those symbols as you progress and you get a little more comfortable with the way that Adobe Animate works. So just to show you very quickly is what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to make a little movie from this. Okay, I'm going to delete this layer out just so it doesn't. Just a little trash. If you select a layer, press the trash can, that'll delete the layer. So I have a little animation here, very simple animation. I don't want to make that into a movie. So what I do is I go into File up here in the main menu and Export Video. It'll give you a little window, Export Video here, and it tells you sort of how you want that video to look. It's 720 by 540, the same dimensions as this frame here, and you're going to want to you're going to want to tell it where to go. I want it to go to my desktop. Class tutorial, QuickTime movie. It's going to make it into a .mov movie. And I'm going to call this, name it whatever you want, press save, and export. Let's see if that worked. So if we go here, sorry, my, there we go. Boom, boom. H264. See where that went to. Oh, there it is. Sorry, that took a little bit of time for me to find. And if we press on that, we have to tell it to open up with QuickTime. And then we have our little animation in QuickTime Movie. And it should be a fairly small, it's a 4 megabyte file there. So that is a very quick and sort of very basic, showing you how to animate in Adobe Animate. It is up to you to sort of take this and run with it and try out different things.